I am a voice actor. I never planned to be one, and I'm not an impressive one. But by definition, yeah, I am one. I started voice acting to fix my voice, to build stamina and learn how to speak properly. It wasn't about a career, but rather improvement. And somewhere in that process, I realized I enjoyed it. I'm still not a professional. Most of my early work was simple, narration and low pressure practice, but it helped. I started pushing into emotion and characters, and eventually began voice acting other people's OCs. But that's when things stalled. Outside of voice acting, I had a lot of free time. Practicing alone only went so far, and I needed real conversations to improve. But it was hard to find people to talk to me. People ignored me in voice chat, some mocked my voice. Hey, can one of you bring me out? I'm a civilian.
Depends, you're gonna stop speaking like you're in a Reddit commentary or some DeviantArt VR chat furry post or something.
Most just didn't respond. I tried to rely on my friends, but I couldn't do that forever. Then I met a singer, and it made me realize something. Voice chat doesn't have a spotlight. So I asked a different question. What if it did? What if there was a game built for voice chat users where speaking meant being seen? That's the game I built. But before I could make anything, I needed a plan. So I broke the project into 3 parts: building, scripting, and advertising. Each part had a clear goal, and each one tested a different skill. For this game, I handled all of the building. I did some of the scripting, but most of that was handled by my friend, Zen. Now for the advertisement. I will review that later. Now let's not delay this anymore. Here is how I, a voice actor, made a Roblox game. So I did begin this a while back. I didn't actually plan on recording any of this, so I don't have that footage. But I did add a small stage here from my previous game, and a larger stage here. I also made some custom lighting. And over here on the bigger stage, there is a audio mixer booth that lets you change the visibility of this mic and enter a song ID. This booth has nothing special yet. So I already had 2 stages, and even though I wanted this game to make it so that one of the players are being focused on, I feel like not everyone would join this game to be performing or watching a performance. So I wanted to add a little campsite area for people to hang out at without having to perform or going to other performers. I'm going to speed up this next part a lot more, but I'd like to talk about my game while I have the chance. I wanted it to be a bit more unique compared to other voice chat games, and while yes, a stadium does make that pretty unique, it doesn't feel like its own creation enough. So I added a donation system as one of my plans for this game, and Zen is currently working on that. I don't know if you can see her in the background. I added some small features like sitting on this car, and then I went on to do the decorations for the environment. Started off by adding differently rotated and sized trees, before adding in some rocks and grass. I then found this nice little bench set and added it in. I then brought in these bushes from my spawn area and started grouping them and tossing them around till it felt like there was a nice shape that surrounded the camp area without making it feel too crowded. It felt like it was lacking that human touch, so I added some flashlights as decoration Then I moved on to making a pebble path as if it were a trail that humans just barely stepped over, but not too much. And then I noticed how the green was kinda making everything look bland, so I added some red mushrooms to just make that color stand out and make it feel less plain. And to further that human touch, I started adding crates around the area to make it look more like a campsite that people were prepared to go at. I also added some lanterns on top so it wasn't so dark at nighttime. After that, I hopped onto Blender and began making a sign. It's supposed to show the two different paths that you can take when you walk by the road at the campsite. I took some inspiration from a popular meme that I'm sure all of you have seen before at some point. When I finished it, I obviously added it in game. It definitely didn't go wrong at first. I'm pretty happy with the results of this area so far, but I did want to add a few more touches since the green is still staring at me and it didn't feel very homey or lively. So I added this rug from my other game and gave it a pattern to turn it into a picnic blanket. Then I hopped back onto Blender and made those coolers that I see all the time in movies and shows. When I finished the picnic area, I decided to make a little fortune teller area. I didn't know if people would tell right away, so I decided to make a sign for it in Blender. I did end up changing the color a bit and then began working on the crystal ball that you see in all those little fortune tellers areas. I couldn't get the right particles I wanted at first, but I did end up settling with this star-shaped design. I think the results turned out pretty nice. I liked how it looked. When I was finished with that, I copied it over to the other side, and I wanted to make a confession booth that you usually see in those churches. I thought it would be pretty funny to add, and that there would be a lot of potential. I did end up scripting this little window that you can turn on and off by clicking. There was a few technical difficulties, and I even made a short about it, but everything turned out alright. When I was finished with that, my scripter Zen joined, and she wanted me to make the leaderboard designs. So I went ahead and did that while she was scripting the leaderboards, where the Robux donated, the Robux raised, and the time played. We also did end up adding another leaderboard, which is for our in-game currency, but you won't see that here. Since you have watched this long, it must mean you enjoyed the video, right? So if you do, please consider liking and subscribing. It means a lot and I really appreciate it. So after this, Zen started working on the player list and some other stuff. So I began working on the thumbnails and designs. They didn't come out the way I wanted, but I think they still turned out pretty well. And with that, the game development phase is finally over. I do plan on adding a bit more, but this is what I have so far. There's a donation page. You can check the leaderboards and change the time. Now, if you paid attention earlier, you're probably wondering, what happened to that advertisement part of your plan? You know, the third part of your game development plan? Well, you see, I pretty much have 0 Robux to my name. So I had to be a little bit creative in trying to figure out how to advertise this game. And it looks like it's working. I mean, You're watching this video, aren't you? This video is the advertisement. I don't have to spend a single penny on this. So if you enjoyed this video so far and you want to support me, please consider checking out Soundstage under my group playlists. If you can't find it, this is my username and you can search it out from there. Thank you for watching.